Captain's log, stardate 3593.6. The Pegasus is en route to the new neutral zone area, KG516, where long-range sensors have detected old-style Federation radio waves in orbit around a Class M planet in an uncharted solar system. We have been ordered to investigate.
"10 seconds to neutral zone, Captain."
I've heard some disturbing rumors of unusual spatial anomalies in this area, Kincaid. Most of which I discount. But keep scanners at maximum range as a precaution.
We have entered the neutral zone. 2 minutes to our destination, ma'am.
What do you think we'll find, Jay?
Well, your guess is as good as mine, Doctor.
We're in scanning range now, Captain. Interesting.
Mr. Raytok?
Scanners have detected a Class EM deep space probe orbiting the planet.
An EM?
That would make it almost a century old.
Correct, Captain. An EM class, still in working condition, and it appears the recording databanks are still active.
Stand down from Red Alert. Mr. Raytok, let's download those databanks and see what they have to offer. We'll meet in the briefing room at 0600 hours. Doctor, you're with me.
What do we have, everyone?
Analysis shows that the probe has been orbiting for the past 30 years and has been monitoring the planet's recent events.
Downloads of the historical data indicates that the planet's evolution is almost identical to that of Earth from the first quarter of the 21st century.
A troubling time for our planet.
Mr. Raytok?
Computer analysis shows that the planetary antagonists have been waging proxy wars to further their own standing. Some factions have been enemies for decades, others centuries. In most cases, the conflicts are regional, but recent developments suggest that the major powers may be on the brink of direct confrontation because their favorite states are threatened.
Direct?
Yes, ma'am. Of immediate concern is the leading superpower, considered historically benevolent, but ever more engaging militarily while working to sustain its own superiority. An emerging opponent has attained the capacity to deploy a superweapon, which would bring this state into the upper tier of nations, coming on par militarily with the elites and destabilizing the prevailing balance of power.
To what end?
The superpower, a democratic republic called Akamera, has stated such a step by the developing power Thornarok would be met with force. The superpower has, in rather clandestine fashion, deployed a satellite with offensive sonic disruptor capability that can penetrate deep underground. Intercepts of highly classified electronic communication suggest that the weapon would be used to target enemy heavy water reactors operating below the planet's surface, well out of reach of conventional weapons, but susceptible to man-made earthquakes and cave-ins.
My God.
Such a surgical strike could be interpreted as a natural phenomenon, provided the superpower were able to keep secret the existence of its offensive satellites, which in themselves are a violation of treaty amongst the comparable powers.
What are the odds of the attack being successful and preventing the rival party from attaining the offensive parity this Akamera sees as an existential threat?
I can answer in two parts. The technology for this to be a successful attack is untested, but within the theoretical probabilities of the desired result. As to your second concern, even a successful attack doesn't preclude Thornak from launching his nuclear fusion missiles, as we've discovered at least 3 sites for stockpiling and testing, which are currently not being targeted, suggesting the Ekameras are unaware of their existence.
So 2 outcomes. The attack may be interpreted as a success by the superpower, but in reality, they still remain vulnerable, and they don't know it.
Or 2, their subterfuge will be uncovered, inviting serious reprisals Perhaps from multiple states, given the treaty violations.
Exactly.
Either way, the Akamera would be inviting warfare on a cataclysmic scale, leading to a retaliation of full capability, one they cannot anticipate. A likely outcome could be that civilization on this planet will be annihilated.
You can so smugly predict the outcome, Mr. Kincaid? Are you certain no intervening force or influence could avert the catastrophe? Some voice of reason?
The only intervening force I'm aware of, Doctor, is in this room.
And a clear violation of the Prime Directive, Kincaid.
Jay, if the Romulans launched an unprovoked assault hell-bent on destroying this planet, we just let it happen? Stand by and say, it was meant to be, when we could stop it?
If the Romulans were to come here, Doctor, they would be in violation of treaty, and we could engage them on that basis alone without involving the planet.
Yes, Mr. Raytalk. You're the smartest one in the room. We all know it. But, damn it, we must do something. We sent this probe here 3 decades ago to learn something. And by God, we have. Now what do we do about it?
I don't see much wiggle room given the Prime Directive, Doctor. We can observe, but intervention is off the table.
Unless their sonic weapon was to misfire, then the superpower would know they remain vulnerable and conduct their political and diplomatic overtures accordingly.
And there would be no provocation against them with no treaty violation because the weapon was never used.
Well, Mr. Raytalk here says the weapon is within theoretical probability.
Monitoring communications, Captain, it appears that neither side is aware of the other. We might be able to use that to our advantage. As a note, when this happened to Discovery a couple years ago, they were able to allow the planet to work it out for themselves.
With the caveat, it be properly executed, I submit that variable, as the science officer mentioned, could be influenced.
Are you suggesting the Pegasus sabotage their satellite weapon, Kincaid?
It is the best of all possible outcomes I have heard so far. Every race deserves a chance to live, even if an outside force needs to show them the error of their ways.
Playing God never appealed to me, Doctor. Starfleet should really look into providing ship's counselors. All right. Formulate the least aggressive method for moving the needle forward. Be on the bridge in 1 hour. Dismissed.
Captain's log, stardate 3594.1. After much deliberation, at my sole discretion and direction, the Pegasus will neutralize the sonic disruptor satellite orbiting the planet using a subspace directional electromagnetic pulse from the sensor array. This will be undetectable to the planet's inhabitants and will render the satellite's geopositioning communication system inert.
The action we are about to take may very easily be interpreted as a violation of the Prime Directive. I'm not so sure I'm sold on the idea myself. If any of you wish to enter an objection, for the record, you may dissent without prejudice. Very well, Mr. Raytalk. Give me the particulars.
We are fully confident that we can disable the satellite with a single burst. In addition, Lieutenant Walker has been studying the planet's Ethernet cloud, a sort of communication hub for the populace. We can then embed certain algorithms that can communicate sub rosa to the various groups on the planet and possibly steer them towards communication, negotiation, and eventually disarmament.
In theory, building a rising tide of non-confrontation sentiment, coupled with the acceptance of the emerging power, could be the stepping stone toward pulling this planet back from the brink.
It sounds like a good idea to me, Captain.
No, I'm sure it does, Doctor. I'll offer your endorsement at my court-martial. Mr. Raytalk, Execute.
It's done, Captain. We can monitor any impact we're having through my subspace link with the probe. We should be able to sustain contact for 3 to 4 months at space normal speed.
Very well, Lieutenant.
You are doing the right thing, Jay.
Well, we'll see. Helm, set course to leave planet. Ahead, space normal speed. Lieutenant Walker, continue to observe the probe's output.
Aye, Captain.